Hi everyone, welcome to our very first live stream here on GarageMisadventures. Today, Mary's going to be doing some epoxy resin. That's something she's been working on lately. And we're going to be talking about some of our projects here on GarageMisadventures. And if you guys are in the chat, let us know you're here. And we can talk about your projects if you have any questions. If you've been following us, you have any questions about any of our ongoing projects, let us know. This is a great time to talk about it. Mary's been working on the epoxy resin lately. That's been her newest venture into crafting. And today she's going to be doing a tumbler and I believe some coasters as well. She's done a few. You want to show what you have made so far?
Sure.
See if I can get this glitter open without it exploding.
I gave that job to him because if it explodes, he's already wearing black. It's not going to matter. So these are the first couple of coasters that I made. They're just epoxy resin with some dye and like various glitters and metallic flake in them. Our son wanted orange and yellow glitter, so he got this one. But they were a pretty good project to start with. They gave me like a project that I could do that didn't waste a ton of material if I completely destroyed it in the making of it, which I did with one of them. So they're a good starter and they're real easy. Like it was just glitter and like epoxy kit and some silicone molds. And I got them all at like a local craft store. So pretty cheap endeavor to get into. Once I did that a couple times, I moved on and I tried this tumbler. I think you guys have seen me, if you follow me on Instagram, trying to do this for like the last week in between like night shifts and things. So learned a lot from this one too. I did probably a little bit more ambitious project than I should have for my first one, but there's 3 different glitters and then there's this vinyl mama bear sticker on it. Learned that vinyl is not good for that. It doesn't stick to it, but I made it work. So I'm going to try again today with this black tumbler here, and I'm going to do black glitter, and then I've got some like pink accents that I'm going to try and embellish it with, and we'll see how that goes. So first thing I've got to do is sand it down and get it rough, and then I'll mix my epoxy, and then we'll put it on the turner and see what I can do.
With the this tumbler here, you kind of put a base layer before you put the glitter on, and to make sure we got the color right, we actually spray painted it first. This one, the black tumbler, the craft store actually had some black tumblers, so we bought the black one so we didn't have to. We could skip the spray painting step. So hey Ray, good to see you here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And Paula, good to see you guys. So the kit Mary's using is from the craft store. It's the Spin It brand kit, and that's a good, easy way to get into it. Mary's done, everything she showed you here so far, and it's a 1-to-1 mix, and it's only used that much of the bottle. So these resin kits actually go quite a ways, and if Mary keeps doing this, we may look into other options because what they sell at the craft store isn't necessarily always the best way to buy it. And there are other options. If you've been following our Scamp project, which is behind us, you may have seen me use the Total Boat epoxy resin kit there, which is a different type of epoxy resin that's meant for fiberglass repairs and things of that nature that are more structural. But they also make a resin for these types of projects that's very clear and is meant for this type of thing, and they sell it in larger quantities, but usually you can't find it in the store around here locally. Paula wants to know, how much is a resin kit? How much did we pay for the resin kit?
I usually paid
This is the kit Mary's using. This is the epoxy kit, and I believe it was around $70. So that's not super cheap. But then the spin it. This device here is for spinning the tumbler, so that the epoxy doesn't drip off of the sides. It continuously spins it for the first 4 hours, and that was another. I don't remember. That one was 50 or 70 also. It was not super cheap, which you can totally make those at home. A lot of people have made them with paint roller covers and things of that nature. So you can get away without the spinner kit for sure and make your own DIY spinner. This is just an easy way, if not the cheapest way, to get into it. But even though the resin kit was not super cheap, as you can see, it's gone quite a ways. I mean, she could probably make another dozen at least tumblers with the kit we've got. So I mean, there's at least 10 or 15 tumblers and in the kit.
I'm still trying to figure out the ratios for things too. Like mixing it is really easy. It's by volume. So you just like 30 mils to 30 mils makes the math really simple. But how much I need to put on the tumbler is a little bit more tricky. It takes a little bit of finesse. So like my purple one that I made, I ended up using, I think, 3 or 4 layers. That's more than I should have needed. But again, I used a vinyl that didn't stick well. So I had like little bumps and things. So I needed an extra layer just to kind of smooth those out. So hopefully this black one will only take like the 2 or 3 that it's supposed to. And I'll try and do them thinner and do a little bit more sanding and prep in between.
Yeah. And another thing that we found is good is Mary has, like she said, these silicone molds for doing coasters, and it seems like it's kind of hard to get just the proper amount for a tumbler. So when you're doing your pour, if you have some silicone molds of things that you'd like to make, have them handy, mix it up, do your tumbler, and then you can take that leftover resin and pour it into a mold and make a quick coaster or something like that. That way it's not wasted resin, not wasted materials. So I think at least one of these Mary made with the extra.
Yeah, I think I made these 2 after one pour.
Yeah, so that way it doesn't go in the garbage. That's handy. Hey, TGIF, good to see you here. Thank you for coming by. We're just getting set up, mixing the resin right now, and you're going to start with the tumbler?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with the first layer on the tumbler here.
Yeah, put my mask on. This stuff is stinky. Like quick night shift story was trying to like stay up late in preparation for my night shift, and I was like, I'm gonna make some coasters. I did it in my kitchen, like at the kitchen island. Y'all, my house stunk for like hours. I was not prepared. Even though I'd seen the videos, they're like, it stinks. Make sure you're in a well-vented area. And I was like, my kitchen's well-vented. Sure.
I obliviously slept through that, thankfully. But make sure.
Move all your clutter.
Sorry. This is how I work. I'm not the cleanest here, but yeah, like Mary said, she's been working nights. If you've watched a lot of our videos, you may have seen that Mary graduated from nursing school this past spring, and she's now an ICU nurse. So she's been on night shift because she's the new kid, so she gets to work nights. But that has created some challenges. That's slowed down some of our other long-term projects, like our scamp. That's kind of slowed down a little bit of the progress on some of those, just because a lot of nights I'm coming home from work and trading off with our 2-year-old with her, and then she's going to work. and it's difficult to get a whole lot done with him. He is a handful. But yeah, we've been really busy, and the Scamp project is still coming along. If you guys watched the last video with the Scamp in it, I was working on that big repair on the, I guess it'd be the right side if you're thinking of it as a vehicle, that big repair, and that repair is almost done. I have been working on it quite a bit over the last month, and I haven't gotten a video about it out because I've been doing a lot of stuff that's really, really boring. It's just layer on fiberglass, sand, another layer of fiberglass, sand, more fiberglass, more sanding. But that particular repair is almost ready for paint, and then we'll be moving on. I've been working on some of the small holes, the rivet holes and things that we're not going to be using, and doing those repairs. The next thing we need to do is actually pull the windows out of the Scamp. It has those jalousie style windows that crank open, old school shutter windows, and those are awesome, but they need to be polished and resealed. So we will be pulling the windows out of the Scamp here pretty soon, and that just gets it one step closer to paint. Once we get all the repairs done, there's just kind of the general dirtiness. You can see behind me kind of the streaks. That's just some of the dirt and stuff that needs to be sanded and paint prepped. Just generally, it doesn't necessarily need to be repaired, but needs to be paint prepped. So with that, we'll be adding some new tools to our arsenal here, I hope, soon. One of them, hopefully, is a paint booth that we can get some of these painting projects we've got coming up done in, and because I do not want to paint here in the shop. The shop is definitely big enough, but anytime, if you've painted anything, even spray painted anything in your garage, you know that you end up with overspray just everywhere, and I don't really want to do that. So we're gonna buy a bounce house, basically. If you've seen a bounce house like your kids would use at a birthday party, they actually make EPA approved blow up paint booths that use an air blower. They blow up, then they have a second air blower that actually pushes the air in the paint booth through the filters and makes a little bit safer environment, gives some good ventilation. And so I actually found out about that because my work bought one, and we are planning on buying one that we can paint the Scamp in. We also have some other projects. If you saw our big pig grill, I've got to paint that as well this spring. And when the weather gets a little bit better, and we've got some other little things that we're going to be painting as well. So that paint booth is going to come in handy. So
Here's the tricky part.
Mary's getting that first layer of resin on right now. Yeah, the bottom was a tricky one with the last one. Mary actually ended up kind of chucking the glitter at it from the side to try to get it to stick. We found out it might be better to do the bottom of the tumblers later. Hey, Mark, thanks for showing up here. You missed me. It's been an entire day. I work with Mark, so haven't seen him for all of 24 hours. Got a little separation anxiety. So yeah, that was a lot more graceful than last time. Last time involved some kind of chucking action, which probably would be entertaining, but not super effective. But any of you in the chat have any questions about any of our projects we've got going on, about the resin pour, about any of our other videos? Definitely drop those in the chat, and we'll address anything you want to know. We have Obviously, like I said, we'll be having a video on our scamp project progress coming soon, hopefully. And the other thing we've got coming soon is a new Volkswagen project. And if any of you enjoy our Volkswagen videos, we actually bought another Volkswagen. So you may have seen our 1968 Volkswagen bus and our 1973 Thing. We actually own a 1971 bus now as well. And that is going to be another long-term project. Our goal is to finish the scamp before we kind of dig into the Volkswagen. Just kind of have one thing torn apart at a time. Hey, Steven, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. We're just hanging out here. Yeah, the new Volkswagen is going to be exciting. It has some damage that we're going to need to repair, and yeah. So the new bus, our 68 bus, is a camper bus. The 71 is a passenger bus, and our plan with the 71, Mary would really like to just have one to drive around, and the auto body on this new bus needs some help. It needs some love, and so the repairs are going to be done to my ability, and we hope you guys all come along with us on that journey. That's going to be a journey for sure, but it's not going to be a professional level. But once we get the repairs done, the idea is that Mary will have a bus that she can just drive whenever she wants, and the value is kind of diminished because of the damage. I'll give you a hint: there was an engine fire, and it is it's not
extensive
great.
Engine fire.
So that is every Volkswagen owner's nightmare, to have an engine fire. Unfortunately, it's all too common, especially with poor maintenance and things. And this one has a story that's a little bit of a heartbreaker. He was on his way to the maintenance shop that we use, that we also use here locally, that specializes in air-cooled Volkswagens. And he was going to get entirely new fuel lines and things. The bus was newer to him, and so he was going to do new fuel lines. And so if it had made it maybe another 3 miles, the entire situation might have been avoided. But we haven't introduced that project yet. For one, because we want to get the scamp done first. And the other reason is because there's a little bit of a mix-up with the title, with the insurance company and the previous owner, and we're just waiting to make sure that gets sorted out before we introduce the project. We know that the title's coming, but with the insurance company and everything, it just don't want there to be any hiccups. So yeah, we're really excited about that. So that's coming down the line. And oh man, you need a new engine in your truck, Steven? And that's you having trouble with it, or what's going on? So yeah, we're excited about that project. As far as other videos, I know we've had some router woodworking videos on here, and we have a couple cool jigs. We did a video on our router crafter, which is actually up here on the shelf behind me, and that's been one of our really popular videos. I actually have another old Craftsman router jig that is from that same time period, and we'll be doing a video on that. So pretty excited about that as well. Oh, your engine's knocking. Got it. That's unfortunate. That's an expensive knock. My Bronco at the moment, as well, has a pretty serious brake leak. The low level light popped on the other day, and I filled the brake fluid, and it was probably a week and a half ago, and it's already low again. So I am not looking forward to it. I'm going to have to tear apart the brake system in the Bronco. These are those things that really slow up our projects, like the Scamp, is when you have other things.
When your daily life gets in the way of your YouTube.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, what is that? Yeah, we're gonna have to dig in and tear the brake system on the Bronco apart and get that fixed. I am not 100% sure that I want to do that or just have someone do it. I don't even know where the leak is. It's the brake fluid's going somewhere. I'm assuming it's not
to the ground.
Yeah, probably the ground. I'm assuming it's not just disappearing, unless my neighbors are stealing it, which I really doubt. I think they'd probably take the gas first. Yeah, today we have been getting dumped on with snow for the last day and a half, and we have probably 8 inches, maybe.
Closing in on a foot.
Yeah, we're probably getting close to a foot of snow, and right before we came live here, we actually lost a tree up by our house. Thankfully, no, not a full tree, but a large
half of a tree
branch off of one of our big pine trees, just because of the weight of the snow. And thankfully, it didn't hit our house. The branches brushed the house on their way down. Mary heard it; she was in the house. I was running an errand, and so we're thankful, because it could have been a lot more expensive than it was. But spent the last several hours attempting to clear the driveway, but it just keeps coming back. And out here in the shop, every once in a while on this wall, because we heat the shop, we'll hear a big thud as snow slides off the roof. It's a little disconcerting, but keeping it fun for sure. So I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe I can see if I can pull this a little closer. Mary's got some pink flamingos happening here.
Yeah. So basically, I just bought like fun little pink flamingos, and then I had this like iridescent pink disco glitter. So once I did the base coat of like really fine black glitter, I went back and I'm just adding stuff over the top, and kind of just pushing down. This is a silicone spatula basically, and just embedding everything into the epoxy. Once I have everything on there that I want, it basically is just going to spin for 4 hours until it has a soft cure. And then you can stop the spinner and take it off and like stand it upright upside down and let it continue to cure for 24 hours. Which is good to know. I missed that the first time I read the instructions. So this thing was like continually spinning for a week as I was like waiting to get in here.
Yeah.
So. And
the shop out here is heated. It's getting colder the longer we stream, because we had the heat turned up, but it's a unit heater. It's a natural gas heater with a big fan, which isn't terribly loud when you're out here working, but I was worried that it might get picked up too much in the audio here, so I shut it off. So the longer we're on here, the colder we get. Hey, Doreen, thanks for coming by. Good to see you. And so yeah, on the video, the glitter doesn't show up that well, and it doesn't look super shiny here in person. You can kind of tell it's there, but what really makes it stand out, once you get the next layer of epoxy over the glitter, then it really pops and it looks awesome. This one came out really well, in spite of us chucking glitter at the bottom.
That's true. If you look real close, it's like iffy, but no one's going to be looking at the bottom of my cup.
So yeah, Doreen, we were just talking about the Scamp a little bit. I don't know about spring. That's a little iffy. We're hoping to have it ready for paint as the weather warms up. We're talking about, we're going to buy a paint booth that's a blow-up style paint booth that we can paint it out in the yard, which it's not not heated like the shop is, so we will need the weather to be warm enough for paint. But our plan and our hope is to have all the repairs on the exterior shell ready so that we can get that paint job done when the weather turns and it warms up. Today, we're not holding out a whole lot of hope because it is super cold and snowy. And we are happy to be inside. So we thought this was a good day for a stream and just kind of talk about what we've been doing. We haven't had a video out in a while, so we just wanted to talk about what we've been up to and what we got coming today while we are stuck inside. So we got the fire cranked up at the house, and it looks like we got some new firewood because I got to crank up the chainsaw tomorrow and go cut that branch that fell up. And it's unfortunate because that tree is part of our kind of our barrier from the road that we live on. Once you're in the back here, it's not too bad, but up front, we kind of like having that visual separation between us and the road. And it's unfortunate that that happened because we're losing a little bit. But I've been telling Mary we need to collect all the glitter from
The mess I make.
yeah, from the mess, the overage. And once she collects enough, then we'll just do a big tumbler that is all reclaimed glitter. We're eco-friendly here.
Confetti tumbler.
Yeah, yeah. Wind chill is 19 here right now. That is chilly. Yeah, I don't know that I've really looked at the temperature here. It's not too windy today, but it is cold. And haven't really looked at the numerical temperature, but sometimes you don't need a number to tell you it's cold.
Yeah. Once it gets below a certain point and I turn the fire on, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, she keeps to like 80 with the fire in the house.
I don't want to have to wear layers if I'm having a fire.
Yeah, we got the whole fire going.
It's different if it's a thermostat. Like I'll keep it cooler and wear a sweatshirt or something. But if I'm having a fire, might as well.
Yeah, we do it upright.
I was raised by a pyro, so my dad literally shattered the windows in our fireplaces. I can think of at least 3 times. And on one occasion, the beads like melted. He melted glass in a residential fireplace. I think the like mound of glass is still sitting on the desk of the fireplace store in Washington, where we took it as proof that we had like destroyed this door.
Yeah.
So
I did break one as well, but I just did it being dumb. So
he dropped it.
Yeah, I didn't drop it. I had the two doors propped up against each other. They were outside, and I had them propped up against each other, drying because getting the creosote off. I spray them down with a creosote remover, and then you just spray them with a hose, and it comes right off. Works really well. So I had them propped up so the water would drain off, and one fell over on top of the other, and it probably would have been okay, except the bolt for the handle on the door fell on top of the other one, and that provided an impact point, and
he was gone.
It broke it. Expensive, stupid mistakes. I'm good at those. Doreen, yes, this is our very first live stream. We're just checking it out, seeing how it goes. And let's give you a better angle. Mary's pouring in one of our silicone molds now. This is a mold she made. This coaster, that's a word. These coasters, these round coasters, that's what she's pouring right now. There's more snow.
It's falling.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little disconcerting to hear that snow falling off the side of the shop. But with the heat inside here and the metal roof, it just slides right off, and you can hear it. I cleared the walk up to the door here in the shop, and about 2 hours later, we came back and there was another probably 2-foot pile, and it's kind of angled because it fell off the roof. It's pretty impressive how fast that roof collects the snow and then transfers it to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Our 2-year-old was having a blast, though.
Yeah, he loves the snow. We made it his very first snowman last year. We did not get very much snow at all, and this is our first substantial snow this year. We've gotten dusted a couple times, but this is really our first substantial snow this year. The year we moved back to Idaho, it absolutely dumped on us, and Mary got her vehicle stuck just outside of our driveway in our neighborhood that year. It was bad, and it was 4-wheel drive. So this is reminiscent because the last 2 days we have gotten a lot. It just went from absolutely nothing so far this year to a bunch. So I'm sure Stephen and Mark, you guys are here close by. I'm sure you guys are having fun with your driveways as well. What do you got there?
So at the craft store, they had these like little pressed flowers that were on clearance. I'm going to stick some in a coaster and see what they do.
Yeah. So these are actually from a company that makes a UV resin, which UV resin is a little different. Instead of being a part A and a part B, you mix together and it hardens. The UV resin actually uses a UV light, and you pour it or do whatever you're going to do with it, and then you put a UV light on it, and it hardens. It cures with the UV light. But really, there's no reason why you couldn't use something like this in normal epoxy. So they were on sale. So Doreen's asking, why does the tumbler have to turn?
So epoxy, when you smooth it out, is still pretty liquidy. So if you leave it, if you leave the tumbler static in one position, it'll actually start like running down the sides of the tumbler. So you rotate it just to keep it like kind of moving equally. And it also helps with leveling. So as it cures, it kind of mellows itself out and fills in the valleys and brings down the high points on the epoxy. So you hopefully get like a smoother finish when you're all done with it. But I also found out, don't heat your epoxy a whole lot. It makes it liquid, like more liquid, and it'll just run right off. I had that issue the first time. Because it says to like use a heat gun to get the bubbles out. So I was like, okay, well, then just heat the thing. Well, it was like dripping off of my tumbler, and I was like, too much.
Too much of a good thing. So
Doug's all excited though, because he got to buy like manly heat gun for me to use.
I really like having everything on a single battery system. That's one of my pet peeves, is having more than one battery system around. So I'm not entirely brand specific when it comes to my tools. If you've been around for a while, you know I love me some tools. But when it comes to anything with a battery, I pretty much stick with Milwaukee. And that's just for the pure convenience of we don't use a heat gun a whole lot. And I have like a drywall cutter, and I have a lot of tools like that you don't use a ton. But if they're on the same battery system as your drills and the things that you do use a lot, you can have those tools. And, if your batteries go bad, it's worth it to buy a new battery because you have a whole bunch of tools on that system. So when it comes to corded tools, there are quite a few brands I look at and consider. But cordless stuff, I've been pretty happy with Milwaukee. These batteries are actually like 8-9 years old, and they're still going strong. So I have been very pleased with the life so far. It's not the cheapest brand out there, but the life it's given me. I have Milwaukee here at home. I have Milwaukee at work, and use them pretty much every single day between work and home. So I've been pretty pleased with the lifespan on that. But I have a corded heat gun at work, so I thought it'd be nice to get a cordless one, just in case I'm ever in a place, doing need to do some heat shrink or something. It's just a pain to run a cord, so it's nice to it's nice to have something that you don't have to run a cord to. Steven, you just got a new 10-inch skill table saw. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, with that, you probably have a 2.5-inch dust collector port. I'm assuming that's a contractor's size, so it probably doesn't have a 4-inch. I have used on some of my saws just a shop vac. Does that saw actually have a dust collection port on it for under the table? I'm assuming it does. Most of the new ones. Okay, cool. Yeah, the shop vac, it works. It doesn't pull as many CFMs as a true dust collector, but it's definitely better than nothing. And most of us, I'm assuming you probably have a shop vac with a 2.5-inch hose. So yeah, the shop vac is definitely the go-to, especially because it's pretty much what you already have. What I have on our saw stop, the saw stop that we have is the contractor size as well. And so it does not have a 4-inch dust collection fitting either, which I would really like, because I actually have a compact Rikon dust collector just for that. We have the large dust collector over on the wall, but because the table saw is in the middle of the floor, it is hard to run a dust collection fitting over to it. So I just got a compact Rikon dust collector, and it's actually under the wing of the table saw. And that Rikon even has a 4-inch fitting, and I picked that one up, that dust collector up on the Woodcraft from Woodcraft, but it was one of their shop tools because Woodcraft holds a lot of classes, and they rotate their tools pretty often, so you can get some gently used tools from Woodcraft during their shop sales. So I picked up that Rikon dust collector from that Woodcraft shop sale. Unfortunately, because I only have a 2.5-inch dust collection port on the saw stop, I had to neck it down to 2.5-inch. So it's kind of a waste, somewhat, to have a 4-inch dust collector on it. Yeah, if you're going to share it with your chop saw or miter saw, if you can get like a splitter and if you wanted to do a dedicated small dust collector that like the size of this Rikon I've got is probably about right, and you could split that into two and neck one side down, and then for the miter side, leave it as big as possible and run a 4-inch to behind your miter saw. That would definitely work. The shop vac does not work very well for the miter saw, from my experience. It just doesn't have enough draw because the miter saw kind of kicks everything really wide. The shop vac just doesn't have enough suction to kind of pull it and really effectively remove that dust from the air. Doreen, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it, and travel safe as you're headed to Tennessee.
Have fun.
Good luck with your packing, and I will see you later, I'm sure. But yeah, the dust collection is something that I'm not super great at, and I think that's one of the efficiencies that we need to improve here in our shop. We're trying to, I think everybody nowadays, a lot more than years past, has put a bigger emphasis on dust collection, and it helps keep your shop clean, but more importantly, it's better for your health. But the mask that Mary's wearing is the RZ mask, which is really popular with woodworkers. I have a 3M cartridge style respirator that I wear when I'm sanding fiberglass and spraying paint or anything like that. But it's really bulky, and especially when it's warm, it gets really sweaty around the seal. So we bought the RZ masks the other day to give them a try for the dust when we're doing woodworking projects and things like that. We bought the M2, which just has the neck strap, and I'm not 100% sold. I think I might have been happier with the M2.5. The M2.5 has the neck strap and the head strap, and I think that might have been a little more comfortable for me. But you know, I'm going to give it some time. See if maybe it's just me being persnickety, and see if I settle in and get used to it a little bit. But yeah, the dust collection and protecting your health is definitely something that is important, and we've been trying to do better at lately as well. And I think there's some, you know, it's kind of hard, because when you look at how much a dust collector and the dust collection fittings, those 4-inch dust collection fittings are not cheap. When you look at it, it's kind of hard to want to spend that money on dust collection when you can use that money on other toys. But it's important, and we're going to try to improve what we do as well. We have the Harbor Freight dust collector, which I also use a mask even when I'm running a tool on that's hooked up to it, because it doesn't capture everything, obviously. But the other thing is the filters in the Harbor Freight dust collector, as I understand it, are not super fine. So it does a really good job of catching all the medium dust, but the really fine stuff that can get down in your lungs and cause health issues, it's not super great at getting all of that. So we also have a jet overhead dust collector that hopefully filters some of that out as well. But it's kind of a combination effort of equipment. So what are you doing now, Mary?
So my mother-in-law gave us like 4 coasters that are wood with like marble on the top. And I follow a gal on Instagram, at Crow Creek Designs. And she's based out of Alaska, I believe. But she does these really cool epoxy pours that look like ocean waves. And like hers are super complicated. Like she'll do those and then like do one layer and then like paint like fish running through it, like running upstream, and then she'll do another layer, and like there's super intricate, like huge live edge slabs. And I was like, well, maybe I can do a coaster. I've never worked with like powder pigment, so I'm gonna make like 3 equal batches and do dark blue, light blue, and white. And in theory, what you do is pour them in sequence, dark to light, up the coaster, and then take the heat gun and spray back from white to dark. And it creates this like spray, like sea spray, like wave pattern that makes them all individual and unique, but makes them all like equal too, like, or not equal, complementary. That's a better word.
There you go.
So
yeah, we're actually pretty excited about it, because
she's coming to Boise.
yeah, the lady from Crow Creek Designs is actually coming to Boise. Sorry, I'm trying to get you guys a better angle here. She's coming to Boise next month on the 13th. So,
and Doug loves me and bought a class with her.
I did. So our local Woodcraft is actually doing a class with her that.
You get to make 2 end
Hey,
tables.
John, how are you? Yeah, so we're going to the class with the lady from Crow Creek Designs at our local Woodcraft, and they supply all the materials, and we get to make our own. Each of us will get to make our own table with hairpin legs and an epoxy pour. So we're pretty excited about that. Mary has followed her for quite a while. So when I saw she was coming to Boise, I figured I'd better buy some tickets. So
basically, the only person that I would like fangirl more over meeting in person would be David Baker from Forge and Fire.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been doing some pretty basic stuff with the epoxy, but you know, hopefully that's some real next level stuff that that she's doing. Some great artistry in epoxy. So, but yeah, Mary's using these Pearl X powdered pigments. Definitely can't read that. I don't know why I'm holding it up. Pearl X powdered pigments.
Tiny font up for you to look at.
Anyway, we got these from Woodcraft. The other thing we got from Woodcraft to try was they also sell this they call unicorn spit, which is a gel stain, and she got some of these to try at some point. I guess not today, but maybe some point in the future. We're going to try those unicorn spit pigments in the epoxy as well, and they have some pretty crazy stuff on their display, like wild colors.
They're interesting because they're actually a gel stain. Like, they weren't originally designed, I don't believe, for epoxy. Yeah. But we've been told, and I've seen on the internet, because it never lies, that it works
everything you
really
see on the
good. It works really good in epoxy. So I was like, well, like, we can try it. If nothing else, we do woodworking projects. I'll make something and I'll turn it blue.
Yeah, trust us, we're professionals.
Totally.
We're not. Steven, yeah, how much do Woodcraft classes run? So the typical Woodcraft class, from what I've seen, is like $75 to $200, depending what materials they provide, because some of the cost is in the materials, and a lot of them you get to take something home. And a lot of their typical ones are 2 to 6 people, which is great because you get you know, some pretty individualized instruction. I have been meaning to take some Woodcraft classes for a while, and they have never seemed to work out. So this is actually the first class we've done. I've considered doing some others, but this is the first one that we're going to do. This one is more because obviously I'm assuming they're paying to fly her in from Alaska, and they said that her classes, they've done them before and they always sell out. So for that reason, her class, and because epoxy is expensive and doing a table like this is a large pour, her class is $275, and there are 15 slots available, or there were this morning, because they just opened registration this morning, and I called first thing and got us in. Yeah, that's like probably the most expensive class I've seen that they host. And I think it's just because of the celebrity, I guess you'd say, of who they have coming in to teach it. Yeah, that is the price of a new tool. Yeah, that's been the struggle as well for us, where it's like, well, I could take a class or I could just buy a new tool. You know,
correction. That's been the struggle for one of us.
Yeah, I like tools. Did I mention that? So, yeah, that's, again, another one of those things. Like, safety classes are important. They're great. Sometimes it's hard to write the check, but hopefully, you know, what you get out of the class is more than worth it. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, if nothing else. So, yeah, we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. So we're actually we're doing it together, but we had to buy 2 spaces in the class because it's super popular class. So maybe we'll learn something. We'll find out. Wow, that is very shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet I was only supposed to use like a quarter of the dye that I just put in here, but It's so metallic and
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could see how much you put in there. Like, it's not all that much. You can see the white sitting on top of the
Like maybe a
epoxy.
quarter to a third of a teaspoon. Like,
Yeah.
I just shook it in there because I don't have a scooper, but
Yeah, so she didn't put a whole lot, but yeah, John, you like the scientific measurements. Yeah, well, with the epoxy, she actually did measure it out with a measuring cup. That has numbers on it and stuff.
I appreciate
Numbers and
exact
stuff.
measurements too,
And
but I was ill prepared.
but this stuff is just kind of enough. But yeah, I was surprised she didn't put very much in, and it is very brightly and metallically coloring the epoxy. So when she starts pouring these coasters, I'm going to try to move the computer over because we're using the webcam right now, and we'll try to get a close up. If you guys are enjoying the live stream, we appreciate you being here, and if you guys would give us a thumbs up, we'd appreciate it, and let us know that you liked it and that you enjoyed it. And if you guys want to see more live projects like this, in the future, we can maybe set up a second camera that we can get close ups and things. But today's kind of an experiment because we've never done the live stream thing before, and so we're just kind of we're just trying. That's what we do with everything. If you've been around long enough, you know that we just giving it a try. All right, you ready to start pouring?
Yeah.
All right. Let's try to move you guys in. Wrong way. It's like a mirror. I don't know which way is which. All right. How's that for a view?
All right. So I've got the 4 coasters in there, and they're sitting in a tray on top of, like these 2 are on a dowel. These 2 are on like a piece of scrap wood that I cut in half that's fairly level. So hopefully that doesn't like run one direction or another. And from what I've seen, the fun part about this is it doesn't have to be exact. Like you kind of just pour whatever pattern you want, and then the heat kind of takes it over and does the wave for the rest of it. So we'll see.
More snow falling off the roof there.
I don't know what it's going to be. There is writing on all these coasters. Hopefully it's dark enough to cover up the writing.
Yeah, these were from, I think, my parents'
home health nurse.
Yeah, their insurance provider or something. Yeah, their home. Anyway, it's got a healthcare name on it, and so that's why they were given to us. They were a freebie promotional item. So we're trying to spice up their promo. That's pretty cool looking. I don't know how well that's showing up in the stream, but it's got a really nice metallic flare to it. It's coming out real nice, Clark. Uh-oh.
I've got extra. I'll just fill it in.
So how are you going to keep the epoxy on the coasters?
So That's why I'm kind of trying to keep it up on the edges, like off the edge right now. When it runs over, it'll be fine because I can like let it cure and then I can sand the edges down if I want to. But if it, I may actually just do a clear coat over the top as a second layer and just let it even out and make sure I add enough to like clear coat the edges.
John wants to know, how long does it take the epoxy to cure?
So it takes 4 hours for it to be soft cured, which means like I could pick it up. I could pick up the coasters and move them without like potentially disrupting the epoxy. But it takes 24 hours for it to be completely cured and hardened. So. Since I have enough space to like leave stuff laying around in the shop and not interrupt Doug or his dad's workflow on their projects, I usually just let them sit for 24 to 48 hours, depending on if I am trying to do this before I go to work for the week or not.
Yeah, like a lot of our projects, a lot of these things get started and then we have to walk away and do adult things like work or something.
Homework.
And then watch our 2-year-old,
It's true.
stuff like that.
If he had his way, he would do this, and
he'd
be fine.
But we got to walk away, do other things, and then come back to them as we can get to them. So that's why everything in our life takes forever, because we're kind of doing it in and amongst other things. But getting crazy.
It's true.
So the difference isn't showing up super good in the stream, but this blue is quite a bit lighter than the second blue. So hopefully she...
maybe as the heat gun hits it, they might swirl and
be
more apparent.
Hopefully they do cool things.
If not, I mean, they'll be just like us. Not very cool, but doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
I said us. Both dual effort.
A dual effort of not doing much.
Of not cool. No,
doing
stuff,
doing
but not
stuff.
Being cool.
Okay. All right. I get confused. Must be my not coolness.
Steven knows. He met us.
I don't have a bullet Ford Mustang like some people to be cool.
No, we just have
John!
6 project cars.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 down. Thanks for sitting here and watching me do this. It's gotta be like watching paint dry.
No, we're watching paint get applied.
Oh yeah, you don't even get to watch it be dry.
Yeah, no. We can leave the stream running. You guys can sit there and watch it dry. No, just kidding. We're not going to do that.
For 24 hours.
For the next 24 hours, you guys can just sit there and watch it dry. We won't do that. That's a joke. Oh, John, you parked in my spot. I'll deal with you later. Yeah, John has a new, I'm not that much into new cars, but John has a new Bullet Edition Mustang that's very shiny. And at least it's a manual. That's very nice.
Got that going.
Yeah, it's got that going for it. They didn't curse it with an automatic like they do with every other new vehicle.
Nice. Some wiggle room with epoxy. That's nice. You have like 30 minutes of working time. So if you mess it up, like if it doesn't pour where you want it to, I've got 30 minutes to like muck around with it and try and get it where I want it.
Mucking around. Yeah, that's been the nice part using epoxy with our scamper pairs as well. it has a lot longer, epoxy has a lot longer working life than polyester resin that I normally use for fiberglass repairs. So I have enjoyed the extended working life of the epoxy as well. All right, so heat gun, is it heat gun time?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of getting washed out in the camera, but there is a very distinct line, and these are very, very metallic and shiny. And they look very cool in person. Hope that translates at least somewhat across the camera. Yeah, hit them with the heat gun.
Yeah. Oh, this one's not going to move it fast.
Doesn't have enough.
Doesn't have enough oomph.
Oh no! We'll have to do it with the toothpick. Yeah, so this Milwaukee, we were talking about this Milwaukee heat gun. It definitely does not have as much fan power as my plug-in heat gun that I have at work. So we may have to add a second heat gun to the arsenal and just use this one when we can't drag a cord around. Steven, yeah, those ocean epoxy pours are super awesome. We're not.
This is not going to look like that.
Yeah, we're not quite getting the effect, but we're gonna get something.
We're just gonna swirl. Look,
Swirl,
we're just
swirl,
Bob
swirl.
Ross. There's no such thing as a mistake. Just happy little accidents.
Yeah,
Or
we're
whatever.
extra happy all the time. John, so was the white on the coaster already poured epoxy? No, these coasters were part wood and part like marble.
Foam marble. Or something.
Yeah, faux marble, real marble. Who knows? Probably foam.
It's healthcare.
But yeah, so they are like wood and marble coasters with a healthcare name on them, which is now covered in epoxy.
Here, I'll give me that.
Give me that. So yeah, they're going to have a kind of a cool look because they're going to be wood, marble, and epoxy coasters now. Get the air gun.
Air gun. You have an air gun?
Yeah.
I'll get an air gun.
Steven wants to know, how do they get the bubbles that look like waves? Do you know that, Mary?
So that was what I was trying to achieve with this. It's apparently you need something a little bit more high powered than mine. Oh no, that's gonna be too much.
I don't know.
So
This
basically,
is the best bad idea I've got.
you take like forced air and blow it from light to dark, and that's what kind of moves the epoxy, and it's supposed to give it that wave-like appearance.
Forced air. I don't know why this is a problem.
I feel like I'm just gonna blow the epoxy off. No, like a low-powered air gun or something. I thought the heat gun would be strong enough, but it is apparently not. So I'll have to do a little more research. I probably missed something when I was looking into it.
Mark, yeah, the heat gun is new. We were talking about it here a little bit ago, and it's nice, but I kind of prefer my plug-in one at work. But it has a little bit more fan power to it. Blow dryer, yeah, we could use a blow dryer, except Mary's blow dryer, hair dryer actually broke here a while back. She doesn't use it very often. And I kind of took it apart and figured out what was wrong with it.
Somebody Tim Taylored it.
And then maybe left it on the counter for like a week and didn't fix it because it needed a new switch. So I needed to go find a new switch. Well, I didn't find a new switch because I didn't. And it sat on the counter, and then Mary finally got tired of it being on the counter and threw it away. So we don't have a blow dryer, but might be a good idea if we had one, because I bet a blow dryer actually would have more forced air motion to it than our heat gun here. That heat gun, the Milwaukee heat gun, what I was saying is, I think it would really be great if you needed to like do shrink tube on some wires under, under the dash of one of the cars or something. So I definitely might use it in that way in the future, because you don't have to string a cord out and try to finagle a cord. So it's going to be great for some things. It just obviously is not the best fit for what we're doing here today, which we found out the hard way. But
It's all right. They're free coasters. Like what?
Valentine's gift. You think I should get my wife a blow dryer for Valentine's? You, John, you're a hopeless romantic. Are you getting your wife a vacuum or something equally romantic, John?
Don't let him fool you. I got a vacuum for Christmas.
She asked for a vacuum for Christmas.
That's not the point.
Yeah, no, they look good. I think Mary was hoping for a little bit different effect. They still come out cool. That's what's great about epoxy. Every pour is a little bit different, a little bit unique, and even the failures can come out cool. So this I don't think was the effect Mary was going for, but it's not bad.
But it was fun to like play with the pigments and try a different thing. I've never done like an actual epoxy pour over a coaster or over anything, and this tumbler.
Yeah.
So
except in the silicone molds.
Oh yeah, but those are molds. They're not like, I'm not like free pouring. Like that has a very defined shape that I just have to fill. So
yeah,
I think it'll be good. I'm also curious if maybe like the white layer should have been like thinner if I had done less, if it would have like moved better, or maybe if I preheated it, I don't know. Yeah.
Ray, thanks for coming by. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you later. So yeah, I think that was our last pour for today. Mm-hmm. If you guys have any other questions about any of our ongoing projects, let us know. Otherwise, I think we're probably going to wrap it up here in a minute. Did you guys enjoy the live stream? Let us know. We could, if you guys enjoy the live streaming, we can try more of it in the future, and try doing some other projects live like this. If not, we'll just stick to our videos because that's been our main thing lately. But yeah, we hadn't gotten a video out in a while, so we just wanted to kind of give you guys an update, let you know we're still alive. The Scamp project is still coming along. We're still trying new things to distract us and waste time, and not get the Scamp done. But yeah, we sure appreciate all of you guys stopping by, and hope you enjoyed our little epoxy pour here today. It's something we're
Steven says he's jealous of your clamps.
Not professionals. Yeah, we can Vanna White the clamps back there. But yeah, we're not professionals at the epoxy for sure, but we appreciate you guys coming along the little journey with us here today as we learn a little bit more about it. So anyway, yeah, John, Stephen, and Ray, TGIF, Paula, if you're still listening in, and Doreen, all of you guys are in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you around in the next video, next stream, whatever the next thing is. But thanks for coming by, and have a good weekend. For all of you that are getting an extra day off this week. I don't know where my hand is in space related to the camera. I'm struggling. So, Michael, hey, no, our weather. Mike. Our weather is actually up here as well. We have gotten like 8-10 inches of snow in the last day and a half. So anyway, yeah, Michael, yeah, it was good to hear from you, buddy. And we will see all of you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.